I feel like falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up.
Hi everybody, welcome back to Peas in a Pod podcast, where I have been unpacking informality through the lens of land use management. Scholars have argued that progress can be made in overcoming the deficits of the formal system by gradually integrating the informal sector into decision making concerned with housing, land supply, security of tenure rights, as well as layout regulation and land servicing. My podcast has been unpacking informality through the lens of land use management, and I have decided to surprise random urban planning students with a question which is posed as follows. As urban planning students and aspiring urban planners, how do you think planners can better accommodate the mechanisms and dynamics of informality into planning, and especially through land use management tools? So let's hear what they have to say. Let's go. Hi, so this is Foto, our first interviewee. Foto, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Koto Mahopo. I'm an honors student, planning student. I'm also a major in civil engineering, you know what it is. But right now, she has asked me the question about what we as planners can do to accommodate informality. Now, firstly, let's talk about the basis of informality. Why does informality exist? We have to understand that informality exists because there's a certain level of freedom that is, when compared to formal parties, it exists in informality. For example, you don't get taxed, you don't get any types of regulation. However, there's still a pitfall, whereas you don't have any type of protection, which is why Metro Police actually still do what they do. However, as planning professionals, I'm not a professional yet, but as planning professionals, we have tools, tools such as zoning, our understanding of bylaws, our understanding of policy. We can actually orientate these by recognizing the informality that people actually are using, then actually propelling that informality instead of shutting it down and making it obsolete or treating it like a silo in itself. We must integrate it into the actual formal platforms and make sure that we propel it forward. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, uncle.
Hi guys, my name is Wugisa. I am a honors student, School of Architecture and Planning. I'm also the academic officer of the SRC. So in response to the question, how can planners better accommodate informality by using urban planning tools, like land use planning tools and stuff like that? I think planners should really consult with people that they're planning for, because I think there is such a huge responsibility for planners to be with people and understand how they use space firstly, and also I think the informality or the informal sector in South Africa and in Africa in general plays a huge role in terms of our GDP and also our economic development. So then I don't think we should formalize it, but rather we should speak to people that are in the informal sector, because the informal sector isn't necessarily what we perceive it as. For instance, just as street vendors, there's so many aspects that goes into the informal sector. So I think planners should consult with people and stakeholders within the informal sector to understand how to move forward, because I don't think we have all the answers. And that's why I appreciate this degree so much, because it teaches you people skills and you can engage with people and stuff like that. And I think that's the essence of being a planner, your ability to engage with people and also find out how they experience space, because we all experience space very differently, and this is governed by one's positionality in society and our different identities. So I think, they should definitely consult with people. We don't have the answers, guys. That's the one thing I've learned from planning. We really don't have the answers. Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Akwana Tendrayo, and I'm in second year in Urban and Regional Town Planning. So how I think we could, as planners, how I think we could plan for future developments in terms of land use and informalities, and trying to recognize the informalities of today. I think we have to really recognize the space, but also implement the policies that are at place. It's not enough just to have good policies that speak about what people are experiencing and what you see in South Africa, but also there has to be implementation, which I think comes from more of the local governments, more involvement with the local governments, and also really implementing a bottom-up approach with everything and trying to consult with locals. And I think that as planners we can bridge that gap in trying to really plan for people, not for the place, not for the space I mean, but plan for the people. And so that's what I think.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Vuisa Pityana Umampehle, and I'm a third-year student doing urban and regional planning at WITS.
Hi, I'm Kasmulo Mbuyane, doing urban and regional planning also at WITS. So I think we should recognize and acknowledge informalities as planners, because these informalities, they emerge due to economic, social and social factors. Therefore, as planners, we have to, right? Maybe by having approaches such as the participatory approaches, whereby we engage with communities in decision making, so that they are not really like excluded from whatever we're doing, but included. So this will somehow create an inclusive community within the urban space.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I think it's also very important that it's not only done by planners, because I think planners are technocrats, so they don't really have that human behavioral thing, if that makes sense. So I think definitely we should include maybe social scientists in ensuring that this is done togetherly and properly. And I think the informal sector should be formalized, just so that there's more recognition to it and there's more rating of it, if that makes sense.
Hi, my name is Clement Mumavolo, and I'm a first year at FEDS doing urban and regional planning. So the question is, how can urban planners accommodate the mechanisms and dynamics of informalities? So I'm gonna try to explain this in terms of me, first year, how I see it. Informalities to me is like something that's like not formal, like informal settlements or vendors there in the streets. So basically, these things are, we must remember they are done by people, and like people are like forever changing. They're not like static or like stationary in one. So as an urban planner, I feel like we can't like, it's not the thing of like we can plan, okay, this is a street and that's it. We should like forever be planning on that street, forever developing that street until, because people change, and when they change, whatever you've done as a planner there, obviously it's gonna change also. So I feel like we should, it's a thing of continuously planning the area or the space, and yeah, that's how I see it. And in terms of like land use and development tools, management tools, those things are kind of, in a way, I wouldn't say they work, because it's like they like zone things to be like specific things, and like, yeah, so for me that doesn't work. It's about like variety, like things are more mixed instead of one use. So I don't know if it makes sense or what,
Yeah, like flexibility.
yeah, flexibility. So it's about constantly planning and developing the space to be able to manage the space rather than planning it once. So that's how I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good day, everyone. I'm Diboma Pa, an urban and regional planning student, doing her honors. And yeah, to answer the question, how can planning better accommodate informality? I think it is important to note that, especially in developing countries and in the South African context, that informality is a very big part of the economy. And in housing as well. So I think to better integrate the informal economy in planning processes or formal planning processes is, I think, as echoed by many of the planners in this room, is that participatory planning or approaches are important. It is important to know or to gauge how these people operate, how what kind of spaces they would like. And I think it's also important that the informal economy has a body, so to say, and can have a spokesperson, someone to speak, someone elected to speak on their behalf, their wants, what they would like to see in the future, and how they'd like to be accommodated for. But yeah, I think it's very important because it plays a big role in the economy of the country, and not necessarily say that informal processes should be formalized, but maybe they should be provided with a certain kind of infrastructure where they can organize themselves and practice freely, and in such a manner that looks organized.
So my point in essence is we now have to now be more on the ground as planners and now move away from this vertical structure we've done, because part of Spluma as well, it's destroying that centralized planning system apartheid has. So Spluma is now the introduction or the acknowledgement to say we're attempting to create decentralized planning. So as part of that is more collaboration with the people on the ground. So that's just my take on it, to say the land use management is a good tool, because the politics as well as people buy land, they build houses, and then a person outside that person's land, not even houses, let's say a shop. I buy a plot of land, I built a shop, and then somebody's gonna come outside my shop and then sell things. So it's also to control as well. So there's this nuanced view towards land use management, that whenever we articulate it, we have to look at all these different, complex situations at play. So my take is people now need to collaborate more, discuss more, and yeah, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's decisive, it's important, but we also have to be objective. Like the evasive entrepreneurship reading is saying, to say, look at the content. Is it bad? Is it like drugs that's killing society? Or is it the kind of informality we need? Like, are we buying food? Are we buying sweets? Necessities that we use on the go. So that's my take on it, to say we need to be more flexible, go to the ground, try and work with these people. But the tool there is a good tool, and we now need to enforce it appropriately.